Hey everybody, I know this is the first live stream that I've done in a while ever since I partnered with Tiny Blue Anthropologist and we were all talking about the Amberlyn Reid stuff, and so I am refreshing my understanding of this technology that I'm using. So if things are not working, please do let me know. I already have an error on my YouTube studio that says there's something wrong with the stream. So please chat in, let me know if there is anything wrong. If you're able to see me, that would be great. Common T-Sun says hello, so hopefully that means you can see me. That is an encouraging start for sure. So, Diary of a Recovering Fatty, good evening to you. Thank you all so much for joining me. So basically what we're doing is I am going to be reacting to a recent Psych2Go video. Now, Psych2Go was a channel that I did a reaction to recently on their video about being able to judge people instantly. And so I got a lot more response from that than I expected. Basically, the conflict was that people thought that they oversimplify a lot of things or outright misrepresent things about mental health. And so I wanted to use this video as an opportunity to talk a little bit more about that. Let me see. Let me keep up with the chat. I got the notice. Give me a moment. I'll let our Discord know. Thank you. That's so kind of you. Yeah, honestly, this community is exceptional. I know I stole, or let's say I've borrowed a little bit from Tiny Blue's audience as well as from the Amberlyn Reid kind of universe. But the way that you all communicate and are active in the community is just such a gift and a privilege, and I'm glad to have you all here. So the story with Psych2Go, a lot of people were saying that it's oversimplified, information is sometimes inaccurate, and so I got a little sense of that with some of what they were talking about. I don't think a lot of their information was maybe wrong per se, but maybe incomplete in the way that they were describing it. And it is marketed as kind of like an intro to psychology. So Kitty wants to join. So, hi. Yeah, I know, the stream's all over the place right now. But yes, oversimplified, sure. But if we take it as like this is an intro to psychology, intro to psychological concepts, a lot of their videos I don't have much of a problem with. Again, I am a little concerned about a lot of the sexual content that they're going towards recently, and that's take it or leave it for your personal taste as a viewer, I suppose. I haven't watched too many of those because that stuff doesn't like super interest me, but the one that I happened to come across today was an interesting one that I thought would be fun to do on live stream instead of just in like a video format. So basically this is a quiz that they came out with recently. What type of attractiveness do you naturally give off? So before we jump into that, I know I did promise a giveaway, and for those of you who watched the video about masculinity, this is Made for People by Justin Whitmore Early. He's the author that I interviewed on that podcast. Now, I offered people a chance to comment a book emoji on that video in order to enter into the drawing. Freya says you did unsubscribe from Psych2Go because you weren't really interested in a lot of their new stuff. Totally fair. I've had people unsubscribe from my channel too because they weren't interested in what I was doing currently. So that definitely happens. But yeah, so we have a couple of names here in this hat, and I will be drawing, and I will also post on the YouTube, post on the Instagram, whoever ends up winning, so that you can DM me on Instagram or email me at therapy_today@outlook.com to be able to claim your prize. Kitty, no claws. Ugh. Judy Heller wants to be entered. Let me grab a sheet of paper real quick. Ugh. I should have paper, but I don't. Ugh. This is going to be a little less than professional. But we are going to do our best. Judy, thank you for entering. Do encourage you to watch the video too. I mean, you get to listen to the author himself talk about some of his findings about relationship and friendship through that interview, and so it's really cool. I know Kitty is clingy, literally and figuratively. All right, Judy Heller, I've got your name in the hat now, so I'm going to shake it up a little bit. All right. And again, yes, check out the Instagram, or I'll put it on a YouTube post. Just DM me on Instagram or email me at therapy_today@outlook.com to claim your prize, and then I'll ship out the book to you. Oh, okay, I need to make another entry. Hold up. Okay, look, if you all want to be entered, go ahead and comment that book emoji now so that I don't have to keep going back and making more of these. And it's also difficult when you have a kitty riding on your arm. Common 2 cents, I appreciate that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to send it to the wrong address. Diary Dessa. Okay, I was gonna say I don't want to keep calling you Diary of a Recovering Fatty. That seems a little disrespectful. Got your entry in here too. All right, shaking these up now. All right, and the winner of our book is Juju Kibu? This was somebody who commented on the original video. So, Juju Kibu, I will post that you won on YouTube, as well as you guys are too much, as well as on the Instagram, and we will get that book out to you as soon as we can. But yes, let's go over to the Psych2Go reaction and talk about what makes people attractive. As what type of attractiveness do you naturally give off? Let's see if I can switch this up real quick. All right. Please let me know if you all are seeing the video, and also if you can hear it when I start playing. If not, then I'll have to figure something out.
You are attractive. That's a fact. We often think of attractiveness as something visual, a great outfit.
Hold on. I need to change my sound settings. Like I said, I am relearning all the audio stuff. I think I'm just gonna have to switch it to my speakers. Ugh. Okay, you know what? Maybe it'll just be easier if I read the captions.
Flawless skin, perfect hair, symmetrical face, big eyes, etc. But real attractiveness, it's more than what meets the eye. It's the energy you carry, your vibe, the way you think,
what is my vibe?
How you make people feel just by being around. In a world that constantly tells us we have to look a certain way to be beautiful or worthy.
I will say so far, if you're talking about kind of like that positive psychology piece, this is a good intro from Psych2Go, emphasizing that you don't have to look a certain way in order to be attractive. Kitty? Are you going to sit still or are you done? Do you want to sit?
It's easy to forget that each of us radiates a unique kind of charm. Some people light up the room with their smile. Some linger in your thoughts because of how deeply they listen. Others lift your spirit with just their presence or words. So today, let's do something fun and meaningful. What kind of attractiveness do you naturally give off? Not just the kind people see, but the kind they feel. Before we start and talk about the game rules, we want to remind everyone watching what our mission on YouTube is.
Oh, okay.
We are here to uplift you.
I've got a bit of... Okay, Kitty, you're done. I've got a disclaimer now. Here to uplift you, give you hope, validation.
To give you hope, validation, and listening ears to whatever you're going through at any given moment. We are not here to...
Oh, I'm not sure about the mission statement there about listening. Is that something that they actually offer on their channel, or do they have like a separate website where they offer support or something like that? I don't know if that's altogether accurate.
Judge, demonize, or give unwanted advice. We just want to be that space where you can feel comfortable to vent a little, learn more about yourself, and grow with others who are experiencing the same things. If our content helps you and resonates with you, a simple share goes a long way.
Yeah, there's the poll.
Let's get into the game rules. Just like some of our other quizzes, like how are you
do their other quizzes,
and
so
how lonely are you?
Hopefully,
grab a pen and keep track of your letters.
A's, B's. Oh, I didn't know I was going to do this much writing today. I'll just take one of the other entries and keep track of. Okay. My letters, A's, B's,
C's, or D's.
C's or D's.
We've got 10 quick questions, and at the end, tally your answers to find out what kind of attraction energy you naturally give off.
Attraction energy that I naturally give off.
Let's dive in.
Question number one.
When someone genuinely compliments you, what do they usually point out?
Okay.
A, your fashion,
they normally point out my fashion features or physical appeal.
B,
only my wife. Your thoughts, creativity, or perspective.
C,
maybe your warm empathy or listening. Probably that one. I mean, I figure you all can guess that my empathy and listening is probably going to be what people usually point out, given my profession. So I'm probably just going to pencil in that answer unless D is a really obvious difference. Tiny Blue, welcome. Thanks so much for joining. Sorry you missed Kitty already, but we're going through a Psych2Go video. It's a quiz. What type of attractiveness do you naturally give off? And I'm going to see what my result ends up being.
Ear. Or D. Your energy,
humor or playful presence. My wife will tell you my playful presence is not.
That's okay. Think of the last time you felt good about yourself. Question number 2.
How do you usually build a connection with someone new? Okay.
A. Through confident presence and charm.
Confident presence and charm.
Through thoughtful or curious conversation.
That's probably going to be what it is for me.
By making them feel emotionally seen.
That could also be me.
Or D.
Or by laughing, vibing, or sharing an experience. I'd probably say B or D. I like to share experiences with people, but I think now just as an adult, I don't get the time to really do that. So I think probably B is going to be the answer for me.
Up next, number 3.
Favorite way to make someone's day.
What's your favorite way to
Are we talking about like love
day?
languages here now?
A. Show up looking your best
Show up looking your best and share a
B.
smile.
Say something clever, insightful, or thought-provoking.
I don't usually
C.
volunteer too
Offer
much.
kindness, reassurance, or support.
Offer kindness, reassurance, or
D.
support.
Be silly,
that's probably
spontaneous, or entertaining.
Okay, so I'm already getting the vibe that these are all questions that have very similar types of answers. A is kind of like a physical appeal kind of thing, looking your best, giving a smile. What was B? Let me go back a little bit. B was
say something clever,
insightful, or thought-provoking. So this is like being funny or entertaining, I guess. Giving something verbally, and I think C is emotional support.
Or thought-provoking.
And then D is what? Having a good time with them.
Offer kindness, reassurance, or support. Or D. Be silly.
Oh no, I don't have my Tiny Blue proof outfit here. She's already analyzing that I seem nervous. Nervous in the sense that I don't do a lot of this introspective stuff. Like I kind of go through life and I'm just going through life and I don't do too much of the analysis piece. So actually having to answer a lot of these questions is kind of weird because I don't think about this stuff a lot of the times. But yeah, you guys follow along. I'm curious what you all end up with towards the end. So far I've got C, B, and C. Though I feel like if all of these questions follow the same trend and categories that they've been doing, I'll probably end up with type C, whatever that ends up meaning.
B, spontaneous or entertaining. Oh, if B and D sound quite similar, think of B as if you were giving intellectually stimulating thoughts on a topic, while D is more like joking and saying something fun, trying to make them laugh. Question number 4. How would a friend describe your vibe when you walk into a room?
What is my vibe?
A, polished, eye-catching,
and composed.
B,
I doubt it.
Quietly powerful,
intellectual, or deep. I don't feel like I have the quietly powerful vibe to me. Yeah, Common 2 Cents says, I don't do emotional support at first meeting because I see that as false hope and possibly opening a door to a potential over-needy person. Yeah, that's definitely possible. I think that I've just done counseling for so long that I will accidentally slip into that mode where I'm just listening to someone and I realize that that's happening and I'm like, okay, I gotta pull back a little bit, like we're just talking. I'm also curious what your all thoughts are seeing me at a distance and me trying to answer these questions too.
Or deep. C, gentle, emotionally present and inviting. Or D,
radiant, loud in the best way. Yeah, I know I'm not going to be type D. I think it's probably closer to B for me. Hold up. I just had a speaker randomly turn on. Please give me a second. There was like my speaker just randomly turned on and it was playing the video, so yeah, so I'm thinking I'm closer to the vibe of like the intellectual deep person. I think I'm a little bit slower to warm up to somebody when yeah, thanks Tiny Blue, the room is possessed. It's the spirit of the cat. Yeah, so I'm not warm and fuzzy right off the bat, so that would definitely be B for me.
Or full of fun. 5. What part of you do you think people are most drawn to?
A, what kind of question is this? Your style and physical features, probably not. Your mind and how you express ideas. That could be.
C,
your heart and ability to make others feel safe.
Or D,
your contagious enthusiasm and fun. I don't have a fun spirit. I'd probably put C for that one. I am in some positions of leadership, and I will say that over the years, I feel like people have given me that feedback that they felt safe talking to me about some stuff and bringing up stuff that could be challenging or difficult conversations with other people in leadership positions in a similar organization. And so that was something that was encouraging for me to hear as a counselor, of course, but also as a leader, that I can create that environment for people. So I think that's probably, that sense of emotional safety is something that I don't know if it's necessarily attractive, but is something that I've gathered is something I can do. Common Sense is, I'm told I am intimidating as hell when entering a room as first impression. Yeah, where's the big boss vibe coming in from here?
Spirit. 6.
What makes you feel the most confident?
A, wearing your favorite outfit or getting compliments.
I do like
B,
that.
Sharing your ideas or having deep conversations. C,
I actually really do like listening to other people's deep ideas. I don't generally offer my own thoughts because I don't have as much confidence in the way that I analyze things and the results I get to in those deeper conversations. Helping someone feel better emotionally, I can do that. I don't think that's what makes me feel the most confident. So far, I'd have to say A. If I'm getting compliments on my outfit or how I look, that is something that makes me feel more confident. Tiny Blue. I was gonna say like the vibe is very similar to like those early Facebook quizzes or BuzzFeed and like well, I didn't grow up with the magazine quizzes, but like yeah, definitely a BuzzFeed or Facebook, like early 2000s Facebook vibe.
Helping someone feel better emotionally. Or D, making people laugh or lifting their mood.
I do enjoy making people laugh. That makes me feel good if I can say something funny. It just doesn't happen enough, I think, for it to really be something for me. So I'd say A, getting a compliment. Which compliment feels the most meaningful to you?
Then, which compliments feel the most meaningful to you? A, you're so good looking, or you always look amazing.
That would actually hit pretty hard for me, honestly. And I'm coming off pretty shallow right now, but that is something like, I think especially as I get older, and you've seen some of my hair transformation and stuff like that, that does hit for me if someone compliments how I look.
B, you're brilliant.
You're brilliant.
I never thought of it that way.
Man, see, okay. I like that one too. Being told that I'm brilliant, that would be something.
C, you make me
feel safe, or you really understand me. I don't know whether that's. I know I'm pausing too much. Sorry, I'll speed it up. I don't know whether that's like. I hear that a lot, or that's just part of the job. So maybe that doesn't hit as hard for me anymore.
Or D,
or you light up the room, you're so fun to be around. I would like that to be the case, but I don't think that's realistic. So I would probably go with B.
In group settings, what role do you naturally take on?
What role do you naturally take on?
A,
Oh, this would be interesting.
the stylish, confident one who stands out.
Nope.
B, the observant,
thoughtful one. That's probably my
questions.
role. Asking questions,
C,
yeah.
the caring one who checks in and listens.
If we're doing group projects,
D,
I don't do the whole
the
checking
fun
in
one
on
who
everyone
brings
thing. I'm
good
not
energy.
going to be the team mom.
Almost done. Next up, question 9.
So yes,
what
I'll go
do
with B
you
on
secretly
that one.
wish people would
Secretly
notice
wish
more
people
about
would
you?
notice more about you.
A, that you're more than just your looks.
More than just your
B,
looks.
that you have a soft side
B,
too.
that you have a soft side
C,
too.
that your kindness doesn't mean weakness. Or D, that you're capable of depth, not just fun.
I don't know that I have too much maybe insecurity about any of those things. I feel like I have a pretty decent balance of like, yes, there's depth beyond, just relying on my looks, or I have warmth in addition to the intelligence. If anything, I would say that like I would hope to be seen as more of a fun person rather than, A, B, or C. So like I guess so far what I'm gathering, type A is like the visually appealing, attractive person. B is the intelligent depth one, and then the C is the empathy, and then D is the fun vibe. Well, you all are having fun in the chat, and I'm here struggling because I didn't grow up doing these quizzes.
Save that question for closer to the end, because at the end of the day, it's who we want to become that truly matters. But here's your last question.
Okay.
What kind of connection leaves the biggest impact
I only have 8
on you?
written down.
A, magnetic chemistry.
What kind of connection leaves the biggest
B,
impact on you?
Shared ideas and deep conversations.
Shared ideas
C,
and deep conversations.
Mutual emotional trust. Or D, shared joy, humor, or excitement. Congratulations on making it to the last.
I'm gonna go
Here's
back
your
real
last
quick.
question.
Here's your last question.
What kind of connection leaves the biggest impact on you? A,
connection leaves the biggest
magnetic
impact.
chemistry.
Magnetic chemistry.
B,
Nah.
shared ideas and deep conversations. C, mutual emotional
I would probably
trust.
say the shared.
Or D, shared
deep
joy,
conversations.
humor, or excitement. Congratulations on making it to the last question.
I feel like
if you
I've
made it this
bonded
far,
with
we are
somebody.
also excited to see how you did as well. This quiz was partly inspired by
Okay.
our recent quizzes to help you learn
Wait,
more
what
about
is the
yourself.
rest of the
links are in the
content?
description, so be sure to look for them later on as well.
That took
With
like
each
5
quiz
minutes.
You take, we hope
So
that it
what
helps you
else
get
is
closer
there
to
in
more
this video?
self-awareness. We hope for the quizzes to be accurate, and we're always working to improve them. If they have been helpful, sharing your responses and feedback below would be appreciated. Now, let's tally your results.
Oh yeah, results.
If you got mostly A's, physical attractiveness,
yeah,
the
I
radiant
figured.
presence, your power.
Your
You shine,
power?
literally and figuratively.
Okay.
Your presence is magnetic, and people often notice you before you even say a word. Whether it's your style, your smile, or how confident you carry yourself, there's something about you that draws attention and admiration.
So
Your
I have
soft
mostly, let's
spot.
see, 1,
Others
2,
might
3.
focus too
I
much
think I have
on
mostly
your appearance
B.
and
1,
overlook your
2,
depth.
3, 4,
You might also
5.
feel pressure to always look the part, even when you just
Oh,
want to be
okay, so
yourself.
this is like
Your love note. You're
they're
not
giving you
just your
tips and
image.
stuff based
Your spark
on
comes from the substance
what your
behind the
type
shine.
is.
Let people witness all of you, not just the surface.
So
That's where the real
the
magic
majority
is.
of
If
my
you got
answers are
mostly B's,
B.
intellectual
So we'll see what they say.
attractiveness,
Intellectual
the thought
attractiveness.
provoker.
Yes, the
Your
thought
power.
provoker. The nerd.
Your mind is your magnet. You shift conversations, offer fresh insights, and leave people thinking in new ways. Your curiosity and clarity make you genuinely captivating. Your soft spot. Some people may feel intimidated, not because of you, but because they're not used to your level of depth.
I wonder about that. How do they come off saying that most people are intimidated by you? Like, what not a stereotype, but what a generalization. That somebody who might have intellectual depth is just naturally intimidating to others. Who was it who said that they just have that intimidating vibe? I'm curious if you feel like that's why, because you have this intellectual piece to you. I do have clients who get terrified of my questions. I had one today who just kept saying I don't know to everything. But I think that was just because I was encouraging them to think through some questions that they hadn't thought through before. I think B and D's would actually, like Dessa, the D's and B's together, I think that would be like a killer combination. If you have fun and you have that depth and intellectual conversation to you, like that would be a killer combo. No nonsense. Well, I mean, we need people like that, and I think that's super helpful in like when you're talking about just being in society or groups. Having someone who's not going to mess around and just give feedback and ask tough questions, absolutely necessary. I don't know if this attractiveness thing is the right description. I think that would be my complaint, I guess, also with the oversimplification, because a lot of this is probably going to be influenced by how you want to portray yourself. Now, I get that not everybody's live streaming their results and their feedback on this. And so even in the privacy of your own mind, though, if you were going through this video and trying to figure out what's attractive about me, you're going off of your own biases and what people tell you, which I don't know what your guys' experience is like, but I don't think people make this stuff like they don't give that feedback so specifically all the time. So you're going off of very sparse feedback. At least in my mind, that's how I would imagine it to be. But you're also, this goes for the same with like personality tests and inventories and things like that. It's based on your self-perception and self-conception. And so if you see yourself as like a deep person, it doesn't matter if you actually are or not, you'll probably answer mostly B's. And same thing with like A's. If you think like you really look good, it doesn't matter if nobody else thinks so, because a lot of these were just self-report. But let's keep going. I digress.
You might also default to logic when your heart is calling for space, too. Your love note. Your intelligence is captivating. But don't forget, your warmth is unforgettable. Let your heart join the conversation, too. If you got mostly C's,
I can ask my wife if she thinks my intelligence
the
is
heart
captivating.
Connector. Your power. You create a sense of safety and belonging. People feel emotionally held in your presence, even without words. You connect soul to soul. Your soft spot. You might attract people who lean too much on your nurturing side. It can also feel tough to protect your own energy when your instinct is to care for others first.
I think that soft spot, I guess if that's like a potential weakness, that was what one of the commenters was talking about in the chat earlier, where they have to make sure that they don't open up the door too wide for somebody to lean on them over much just on their first meeting.
First, your love note. You don't have to carry everyone. Being soft doesn't mean being unprotected. You deserve the care you give so freely. Mostly D's. Energetic attractiveness. The joy bringer. Your power. You're electric. Your laughter, spontaneity, and warmth light up any space. People gravitate toward you because your energy feels like freedom. Your soft spot. You might feel pressure to always entertain or worry that people only see your playful side. It can be hard to show your serious self without feeling misunderstood. Your love note. You are more than the mood you set. The full spectrum of you, playful and profound, is worth being seen and loved. Got a tie?
Okay.
Multifaceted attractiveness. The layered soul.
Multifaceted attractiveness.
Your power? You're not
everything.
Just one kind of attractive. You're many. Maybe you're emotionally warm and intellectually sharp, or radiantly stylish and full of spark.
So this can just cover
layers,
all of their bases because now you're multifaceted.
Your soft
I've got multiple layers of
Some people might only see
attractiveness.
the part of you they're most comfortable with. It can feel frustrating when others miss the full, complex you. Your love note. You were never meant to fit into a box. The right people will stay long enough to see the whole
A's,
story
B's, C's, and D's are meant to fit in a box.
Every unfolding layer. So, what kind of attractiveness do you resonate with most?
So that's the key thing there. What attractiveness do you resonate with most? Not actually what you're most attractive in, but just which one you resonate with most. So again, I think the charge will stand that this is oversimplified and it's prone to the same kind of biases that'll come up in personality inventories. And there are some better research-backed ones that will have not like trick questions, but that will be a little more open-ended so that it's not so predictable that you can portray yourself exactly how you want to be seen. I am just going to keep going and ignore the chat for now. So interesting in the sense that they're framing it in the sense of attractiveness, but it's definitely more self-perception than what you actually naturally give off. So there's that for that reaction. I'm still not convinced on Psych2Go. Again, let me go through their channel. They just pump out videos. It's crazy how much they post. It's almost as prolific as Tiny Blue. How excessive kindness ruins your mental health. So I might dive into that one. That's an interesting one because in a podcast that I just recorded, this will be coming out this Saturday. This is a video on religious and spiritual abuse. My guest actually talked about a war on empathy headed up by, I think one of the pastors is Doug Wilson, where he declared empathy to be a sin. Now, I haven't watched the whole video on that, so I'm oversimplifying what he said. But that could be an interesting angle from a psychology channel talking about how excessive kindness ruins your mental health. And I'm guessing it's going to be in the vein of what we had discussed already, where if you leave yourself too open and are not taking care of yourself, that you have a tendency to burn out and then go through compassion fatigue, and which is a real problem for therapists and people in the helping professions. What hidden strengths did pain give you? That could be a helpful reframe, that instead of just looking at the pain that you're going through, what has it formed you into? Could be very oversimplified if they're talking about trauma, because we don't want to minimize like, oh, this is for a reason, this is good for you, when people are hurting and in pain. Why we overeat, I might need to just watch that for myself. There was another video that I wanted to review and now I'm not seeing it. Let me see. Oh, you know what? It was their one on their homepage. This was a few months ago, if they haven't changed it. Yeah, 8 things not to say to someone with suicidal thoughts. That one I'm interested in diving into because I just am curious what they say not to say to someone and how well that lines up with the trainings I've actually gone through with mental health first aid and crisis intervention. So I am, let me switch scenes real quick. Yeah, okay. So thank you for bearing with me on the technology stuff, by the way. All right, so I am looking back at the chat now. I see empathy is a sin. Oh, yeah. So, Tiny Blue, I wonder if that's something we might be able to collab on. Empathy is a sin. I don't know what faith or religious background you might have. We didn't talk about that. But just from an, I think, anthropological and counseling standpoint, it's an interesting take, and I'd like to dive into that. I'm going to do a video on it anyway. So if you want to hop on and talk about it, I'd love to do that too. Sympathetic and not have to be empathetic. Okay, yeah. So in terms of, the sympathy versus empathy piece definitely came up when it came to the empathy is a sin take from Doug Wilson. Again, I need to watch the actual video to see how he describes and characterizes it, but it definitely got my attention when my guest talked about that. So definitely check that out on Saturday when that's coming up. Okay. I don't mind talking to atheists. That's not something that I'm super concerned about, but I think just having those two perspectives could be helpful. I mean, it might actually be interesting to have both a Christian and a non-Christian take on what a pastor is saying about empathy and how he's approaching it, apparently in a very radical way. So yeah, that's one video that's coming out Saturday. I recorded another one today. What did I talk about today? I need to check my phone real quick. I actually don't remember what I was doing. Oh, yeah. Quick preview. There was someone who commented on one of my shorts. This was a few weeks back, I think. They were saying that I talk about people who receive my services as clients, and for people to see that as a red flag. You should look for somebody who talks about their people as patients, not as clients, because then they are actually looking out for your well-being and welfare and things like that. And so I did a video talking about why I use the terminology of clients instead of patients. And so that's going to be coming out 2 Saturdays from now. So the good thing is I am actually a little ahead of the filming curve right now. So I actually have videos waiting in the wings to be edited and to be pushed out. So that is nice to be ahead of things for once, instead of just recording and then editing and publishing all in the same week. Let me see. So with the religious stuff, obviously a lot of my guests are going to be from kind of my social circle, which is why a lot of them happen to be religious. I do hope that, just like with Justin Whitmore early, who is a Christian author and is coming at a lot of these topics from a Christian perspective, that I hope that these perspectives are not dismissed out of hand just because it comes from a religious source, but that they can be intellectually honest enough to at least think through what the implications are for people who aren't believers, people who don't have the same assumptions, and that their arguments, that they would have thought through them enough to have them make sense also for people who don't share those same religious beliefs. And that's why I'm really interested to dive into and share the religious trauma and spiritual abuse conversation, because that is something that I think affects both Christians and non-Christians, in terms of people who go to these churches and are abused and suffer religious trauma, as well as the people outside of the churches, either who were formerly Christians or who are seeing all of this stuff happen at different churches, different denominations, abuse of power, sexual abuse, covering up domestic abuse and things like that, and really wrestling with what the church claims and then what you see happening. Yeah, so I think I will dive into the Doug Wilson stuff. It's hard because there are probably going to be people at my church who agree with him, agree with his claims and assumptions, and that's something I'll have to wrestle with. I'll probably have more of a personal reaction to that, both because of my vocation as well as my faith. And so that's going to be an interesting discussion. I haven't played around with like a live premiere where I'm watching it along with you all, but I wonder if that might be the way to go for something like that, because it is a very kind of out of left field take that a lot of people wouldn't think that, you would target empathy as something to avoid. But I think there's lots of overtones of kind of that Christian nationalism piece that's taking over a lot of discourse in our political sphere in the US. And I do want to schedule an interview with some pastors about that, specifically that Christian nationalism flavor in our discourse and how the church needs to navigate that. Okay, so Tiny Blue will be in contact and see if we can partner up and find a good format to be able to do that. Yeah, so common sense, thank you. I think that sums it up. Like, if you all don't take anything else from this conversation, know that I am intellectually attractive, apparently, and it is okay to be faithful and logical at the same time. Yeah, I mean, that is it. I think a lot of times we fall into these dichotomies where they don't have to exist. And that is where, we have to think through things, be intellectually honest, and understand what kind of message we're giving by the things that we say and the things that we claim. So, I think I'll wrap it up there. Thank you all so much for being active in the chat. Thanks for whoever originally put out the call in the Discord. Thank you so much for that. That was totally unsolicited and very much appreciated. I haven't made a habit of doing these lives, and so I understand that it's kind of out of the blue sometimes. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for engaging and having a good discussion with me. I know it started really lighthearted and talking about, this different forms of attractiveness and all of that, but I am super excited to dive into some of these more challenging topics as well. Talking about the spiritual and religious abuse, again, that's coming out this Saturday, so tune in for that. I'll talk about the dichotomy between what a client is and what a patient is, and why I use the terminology for a client. That'll be next Saturday, and then hopefully by then I'll have had a chance to schedule and partner with Tiny Blue and talking about why empathy is apparently a sin and why we shouldn't do it. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Please feel free to talk to me on Instagram, comment on my videos. That's one thing I try to emphasize on all my videos. I love the discussion. I am not scared of your opinions. I don't want to shut any of them down. So let's just engage and have a conversation. So thank you all so much for joining. I will see you all next time.